let's move to our last segment, and we'll keep it light. Um, but okay, so as you know, me and Myko are into sports cards, and it's a world of its own. I would say it's a hobby that there's a lot of nuances, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of things that basically makes the hobby interesting and keeps it moving. But before any of that, I guess we just like to benchmark and ask, what is your current knowledge on sports cards, if you have?
Okay, so it's kind of funny because I have two really good friends who I know I have more than a couple of friends who've gotten like in really into the sports card business or box breaking or I don't know the other terms. So I'm kind of knowledgeable about it. I think it's like I've watched a couple of box breaks. I think it's really entertaining.
Yeah.
Especially since I don't have my own money on the line, so I'm just
Yeah.
watching. So
Yeah.
I think I think it really exploded, especially during this whole pandemic, because
Yeah.
Right.
That really
number
did.
one, I think there's a lot of enthusiasts out there, and they kind of just need like something like to put their interest into. So maybe
Mhm.
some people they can't go to casinos anymore. So okay, I'd rather just start collecting basketball cards, or I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, but it's like just like any like hobby or like passion. It's the passion of these people that really pushes the industry. It's like professional basketball, right? It's just like there's no fans, there's no pro sports, so we kind of owe it to the fans, right? So with NBA cards, I think it's really fascinating. I wish I never threw away, or I don't even know what happened to my cards when I was growing up. Man, I might be like a bajillionaire by now if I just kept them. Yeah, who would have known, right?
I
Uh,
know.
yeah, man, I'm excited to learn from you guys too, though. So
Alright.
All right. Well, basically, you can say that these sports cards are living representation somewhat of the
Mhm.
players.
yeah,
So, for obvious reasons, you can expect among active players, LeBron is the most expensive card.
okay,
So it goes both ways. Wherein a not so expensive card would be like a bol, you know, or
okay,
a Seiko or something. Like, of course, those are going to be way cheaper. So
yeah,
basically, the better you are, chances are the more expensive you are going to be. So, and if you're investing in it, the the money is made when you, for example, there's two ways you can go about it. You can buy someone established like a LeBron, and it's obviously going to be much safer than
yeah,
gambling your money on a Lamelo Ball. You know,
okay, yeah, yeah,
if Lamelo Ball pans out, then you can be rich. But if
Yeah.
he doesn't, then
Yeah.
you you lose money. So yeah, that's how sports cards. That's how it kind of works in a general sense. And the reason why we sort of connected this to analytics is because oftentimes when you study the game differently, when you do your research, it gives you the edge, for example, to maybe buy a certain player while no one else hasn't noticed him yet.
yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Like,
I actually have. I'm sorry to cut you off, but
yeah,
I
no, go
actually
ahead, go
have
ahead.
like a story about that. So I
Yeah.
mentioned that I was studying the Heat, right, last
Mhm.
during the bubble and before the bubble, and I was watching Tyler Hero play. I was like, this dude
Mm,
is like, and people are calling me crazy, but I was like, this guy could be like the next Devin Booker. And I'm
Mhm.
like comparing their stats, and it's like they're
Yeah.
really similar,
Yeah.
right? So I was telling a bunch of my friends who do box breaks and they
Breaks.
collect. I'm like, get Tyler Hero. And they were like, they weren't so hot on him. And then like after like maybe
mm,
like 7 games, all of a sudden he's like
Yeah.
the star of the ball. I mean,
Yeah.
so to speak,
Yeah.
right? Because Zion and what's his name, Ja weren't playing
Ja.
anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really I think it's really I think it's pretty cool. Like
Yeah,
in a way, it's like if you have a, especially if you're a fan, it's like you have a connection to that player,
exactly,
Exactly.
right?
exactly. That's the whole card game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, uh,
Like if you bought Tyler Hero cards, if I'm not mistaken, around the start of the bubble, you could have bought around in perfect condition around 8 9 k, 8
Okay.
9, sometimes 10K. And at its peak, I think when they beat Boston, you
yeah,
could have
then
bought his
Tyler dropped
cards,
30. Yeah, Tyler dropped 30 one
shot up
game.
to 25K
Yeah,
at one point.
yeah. My God.
So in just a few games after he exploded, it
Yep.
doubled them, even more than doubled actually. So
That's supply and demand.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Don't skip out on your economics classes.
with that being said, as research is key in sports cards, have you ever considered investing in sports cards, as presumably you would have an advantage, not necessarily on knowledge about sports cards, but just work ethic wise, doing the work, putting in the research, and just watching the game.
I've it's like one of those things where I think I've thought about it when I've talked to like my friends who are in that business. I think I could do a like in terms of buying and selling or just like doing the work. Who I think would pan out. Yeah, I think I could do it, but there's just more of like in terms of because I used to invest like not in NBA cards, but like in stocks or in
Right.
forex basically. So I don't know as a trader if I have the right um, mentality. Like I'm gonna buy something and then like I just gotta wait, or am I gonna flip it? Like I don't know about that side of the business where I don't know if I'd be good at it or not. I've never tried. Like it's basically buying and selling. Um, but I think when people ask me about it, I just give them my opinion. Like, oh, I think this rookie will be good eventually. Why not buy his card right now? But it's easy for me to say that when I don't have money on the line, right? It's like I might
Yeah.
say, "Yo, go get Tyler Hero," and then all of a sudden, or I might have said like, "Get Kendrick Nunn," right? Who
Mm,
was
Yeah.
a starting point guard for the Miami Heat, and then all
Right.
of a sudden he gets benched, and now I don't even know what his card is worth, right? So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, and then someone might be like, "Hey, you told me to get Kendrick Nunn." I'm like, "Dude, I didn't know he's gonna get benched."
yeah.
It's
Exactly.
easy for me to say when I don't got teeth in the game, right? So
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, one of the stats that I personally look at, besides watching the games, are usage rate and PER,
yeah, okay,
because usually, of course, like you said, supply and demand, there's more demand, chances are, if you have the ball more, because
yep,
you can
you
probably
put up
do
Sure.
more
stats.
highlights, better stats.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So that's what I mostly look at. And knowing about usage rate and PR, two investments panned out for me because I'm up around almost double. Are SGA,
Hey.
because I knew
It's my
CP3
boy.
was leaving,
yeah, okay,
so
that makes sense.
I
Yeah,
got some SGA before the trade was announced, because either way, he would get up there in usage. I don't know about
yeah.
PR, but yeah, that's what I was thinking. And Kobe White, because he was bumped up to starting point guard for the Bulls.
Mhm.
Sure, the Satoransky's the other guard, right?
Yeah, and I think they had the what's his name, Chris Dunn. They had Chris Dunn for a while.
Oh yeah, yeah, they
Yeah,
had
they had
him
Chris
too.
Dunn for a while.
Yeah. So those two for me panned out. And I haven't sold yet because I'm waiting for more upside. But considering those, like, who would you think are going to be a good buy in your opinion?
All right. Right now, like a rookie this year, or like doesn't have to be a rookie. I mean,
Doesn't have
because
to be
my
a rookie.
understanding, my understanding of the NBA cards is like, isn't it much better if they're rookies, or if you get a rookie
Mhm.
card?
Mhm.
More
I
upside for
don't.
sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, I would start thinking of rookies. So that was just me. I would be like, of course, everybody knows like James Wiseman. I mean, obviously, he plays for the Warriors, number 2 pick. But one guy who like, and I picked him up in fantasy. That's why I know about him. He's
Okay.
Tyrese Maxey.
Oh yes, I picked them up
So,
recently too. The Kentucky boy.
so like, yeah, that's why. That's actually one reason why I think like he could be good is because he went to Kentucky. Because
Oh.
these Kentucky guys, like, it's supposed to be like a breeding ground for NBA players, right?
Mhm.
And sometimes they don't get to show like Devin Booker. They don't get to really show their game in
Right.
college because they're playing like with a bunch of other NBA players, so their
Right.
stats don't pop out. And then when they get to the NBA, it's all of a sudden they're like, oh, this dude can play. So you got like Devin Booker, Tyler Hero,
Not Tyler Hero.
right? And then now Tyrese
Uh,
Maxey. All of those guys were like, if I'm not mistaken, like 14th, 15th pick, somewhere there,
mhm.
right? So like for me, I'd look at guys who are like maybe they're on crappy teams or maybe they're like where they're gonna get an opportunity to actually really play. So
Right.
like guys, and right now James Harden's gone, right? So Houston, who is their rookie, the Tate guy. I don't
Yeah.
know if he's any good or not, but
Yeah.
who knows, right? If I
Been
mean,
watching his highlights.
is he
Actually,
good? I don't know. I haven't
he's
actually seen him
like
play.
he got moves. Like he can actually play. Yeah, he
So
got the
that's the
confidence
thing.
too.
It's like, and relating this back to basketball and like college basketball, like
Mm.
every time like a high school kid or like someone who wants to transfer, like, oh, what do you think of him going to? I won't name schools, but like big school A and big school B and big school C. I'm like, my first question is always, is he gonna play? Because if you can't get on the floor, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna get better. The only way you're gonna get better is if you play, right? So relating that back to to NBA and these NBA rookies on these cards, you need to get guys who like number one, like you said, like usage rate, right? They're gonna have the ball in their hands a lot, minutes per game, or
Right.
or even if you want to get super nerdy, like pick guys from the teams that play the fastest pace. Okay, fastest
Mm.
pace means more possessions. More possessions means higher like numbers,
Yeah,
basically,
right, right,
right? So it's gonna look like, oh, this dude's putting up 20 points a game, but then if you like compare the pace, it's actually like whatever 14 points a game,
right,
whatever,
right, right, right.
right? So like those are like other ways to like look at data and then relate it to like your investment.
Okay.
And actually, I commend you for actually like doing the research and looking at these numbers. It's just like when
Yeah.
people think of analytics, they think, oh, it's just like there's that notion where it's like, oh, these guys, it's just numbers. These guys don't know basketball. But my thinking is like, if you run a business, like you have like all these ratios, like liquidity ratios, profitability ratios,
Right.
and
Mm.
you're looking at numbers, right? Because you want to make money. Pro basketball is about winning, right? And if you win, you make money, right? You get a nicer contract, you get an extension or whatever it is, right? So if you need to win to be good at your job, why wouldn't you look at data to help you win? I mean, that's how I look
Mm.
at data. It's for me. It's just it comes out of my competitiveness. It's really more of like I want to win, so I will do the work, whatever it might be. It can be work on the floor. It can be video work. It can be analytics slash numbers work to try and gain an advantage, right? So that's how I mean, sorry, we kind of went off tangent a little bit from the NBA cards, but
Yeah.
It's still connected.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's a
It's
little
still
connected,
connected.
but
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. So like, I think that's why like some guys are, and I think if you're going to be trading NBA cards, you need to be unemotional about it because some
Right.
guys
Right.
might like trying to write
Exactly.
like they get hyped up about someone, and now they start buying at the peak.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
all of a
Exactly.
sudden,
Absolutely.
it's like they don't
Absolutely.
the upside that they could potentially make isn't as high.
Mm.
But what if they just did the work earlier, right? And try
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
maybe you bought something at like or whatever, like Tyler here. Let's
Yeah.
just go back
Yeah.
to 8,000, 9,000 instead of buying him at
Yeah.
25,000, right?
Right.
Because you
Right.
right. I mean,
Exactly.
gotta make money. You gotta do the homework, man. Just do the work.
Yeah. Okay. I guess one last question before we wrap it up. Since we touched upon it, we mentioned the upside and the price and all that. I guess a controversial name in sports cards right now would be Luka because
Really?
I've been seeing recently, Myko, because you see players like Kawhi, AD, they're in the 100K, 120K range.
Okay.
And Luka, third year in the league, no MVPs, no championships yet. He's already 85K.
Okay.
And you look at Zion, 40K, Trey around 30, and
Okay.
then you go to like Ja who can be like at the high 20s. Like Luca is
Okay.
way up there in price already. Even though we know he's going to be great, we just
Okay.
don't know if he can sustain or even win MVPs or chips.
Okay.
So like of course if you invested in Luca at 25K, for example, back
Yeah.
then, you're
Yeah.
sitting pretty,
But,
right? But if you buy at 85K, they're saying that you buy into what he can be in the future, if
long
he can be
term.
the
Yeah.
face of the league, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So, given that sort of a short background on Luca, if you were an investor of sports cards, would you buy Luka Doncic cards at 80K? Or for you, is that a fair price already for him? Or would you just steer clear?
If are you asking me?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
If it was me, I'm okay. So I think my because I'm a okay. Let me preface this. I used to be a forex trader, right?
Right.
So in forex, the way we were taught how to trade is you on every single trade that you make, you risk about 1 or 2% of your total portfolio. Okay, so for example, if I had $100,000, right, I would only risk on my maximum loss on any single trade would be around $1,000 to $2,000, right? But
Uh huh.
my target would always try to be I try to get hit at my price point for my target would always be 3 times or 4 times what my loss would be. Okay, so I'd try to aim to make 3,000 or 4,000. So why do I bring that up? For me, I would try to pick guys who might like for example a Tyrese Maxey, right? You're thinking of him as I don't know how much his card is, right? Let's just say it's 5,000 pesos, whatever, right?
Okay.
Say it's 5,000, right? But he has the potential. I don't think he's gonna be like the Kawhi, AD, Luka level where he's gonna hit 100,000. But he might hit maybe like a Tyler Hero level where his card goes up to 20, 25,000. So
Okay.
your earnings potential is like 400% or 500%,
Right.
as opposed to if you bought a Luka Doncic at like 80,000. But what's the upside? Can he hit 120,000
Okay.
where your upside might only be 50%? But of course you got to factor in that you're going to you might make like your peso value might be 40,000, as opposed to you're only going to make 15 to 20,000 with like a
Mm.
relatively unknown guy. So I think it really depends on your investing style. Me personally, I don't like buying guys who are like, and this comes also to like the way I draft and like fantasy. I don't like overpaying for guys like who are going to be like I don't like reaching like or overpaying for a guy. And I think like for example, if you have a third round pick and then you end up picking like someone I don't know who it is, but he's only going to give you third round value. I'd rather pick someone like okay, let's and I'm not even sure if he's going to give me third round value. I'd rather pick a surer thing up on my earlier rounds. Now, if I'm in the later rounds, I'd be like, I'm going to try and pick a guy who's like maybe in my sixth or seventh pick, who I think might end up being like a third or fourth round guy, right? So I'd
Makes
rather go
sense.
with someone who has more upside, right? And especially so going back to the NBA cards, like I'd rather pick a guy like whatever. If I had 80,000, why not why put all your eggs in one basket? Why not get like cards of like multiple different players, Now your risk is diversified. Like maybe you might not make as much, but you might be able to move your cards. Damn, I'm getting interested
I
now in this like
guess.
card business now. That
I
should be
love
good.
it though.
That's
I
that
love it.
reverse psychology, man.
It's like what do you call it? Man, that's why you guys asked me on your pod. Now I'm gonna be your customer. No, it's
Tell your friends. Tell your friends you
I
want
will, I will.
to.
It's what do you call this? So I think that's the fun part. It's like what kind of strategy are you gonna take? Like some
Mm,
guys want like all stars,
Right.
right? Because they want to have the AD, they want to have the LeBron, the Luka. Some guys might be like me. I don't know if I'd be good because like I like guys who are defensive players. So if you have an extra Alex Caruso card there, I might buy it off you just because I like Alex Caruso or Taylor Horton Tucker, right? Because I'm a Lakers
Mm,
fan. So that's why it's hard because I'm gonna overvalue guys who are like on my favorite team, right?
yeah.
So yeah, man. But hey, if you got the money, if you want to get a Luca, why not?
yeah.
That guy's a stud.
I'll kick it back to you, Myko, because I know you mentioned to me a couple of weeks ago you wanted to buy Luca for
Luka.
yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of different takes. Like
So,
Coach mentioned his, and
uh,
I know you asked our good friend boss Chio Alvin. He thinks Luca's still a
yes.
buy. You know, for
Yes.
me, uh, it's still a buy. I think
Mm,
just for perspective, if Giannis can be 200K right now, I
right.
think Luca can at least be 150K in my perspective.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Basing on the price
Okay.
of Giannis.
Okay.
But if Giannis wasn't the most expensive modern card and Luca was the most expensive right now, I would say
Yeah.
that's a little concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what
Yeah.
about you?
I
What do
see.
you think?
I think like after all of the conversation that we've had, I think one factor that people need to look into as well is like how soon they want to get their return. Because like for me, the reason why I'm buying the Luca is like I'm gonna just let it sit in my room for maybe 5, 10 years, and then
Mm,
let's see, like maybe it could reach, I don't know, LeBron went to 1 million. So maybe it could reach somewhere like not a million, but I don't know how high it could go. But yeah, for me, I'm gonna be really patient with it. And like I like Luca, the way he plays. I don't think he's gonna get injured just because of the way he plays. Like he's not the way he plays is very smooth, very like we said, very smart. So yeah, for me, he's still a buy for me right now.
okay.
He's a buy.
All right. Okay, so that about wraps it up. Before we head out,
Mhm.
Coach, do you have anything you would like to promote? Of course, your YouTube channel. Anything you'd like to plug in and promote?
Yeah. Well, if you guys like, breakdowns like and analytics and just anything basketball related, you can check out my website. It's coachvplayug.com. And I also post on my YouTube channel, which is you just search for me, Coach Paolo Layug. And if you actually just want to talk about basketball, you can just message me. I'm really
Right.
open. Just talking. I love hoops. If you need
Mm.
advice on anything, just hit me up.
Yeah.
And I just hope that anyone who watches this, I hope you're doing well. I hope you stay safe, and I hope your family's safe as well.
Right. All right, great. Hope you don't mind, Coach. Maybe I'll hit you up one time. Talk about
Yeah, sure, no problem,
coaching one of these days. I'd love to have a good talk about that. All
no
right.
problem.
All right, great. So there you have it, guys. Showed us with Coach Paolo. Man, we thought about basketball in a whole different sense, whole different sense, and wow, it
So
was
much
really fun,
insights.
very informative, very eye opening. Talked about stats, play styles, how do we say, not just basketball, about life. You're gonna
Sorry,
receive
man.
a lot of
It, co-
no's.
yeah. it
You're
comes
gonna
with it
receive
comes with being a coach, man. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, we love it.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. But yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed one of our episodes again. And once again, Coach Paolo, thank you so much for your time and for coming on to
Thank
the
you.
episode.
All right. Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Once again, I'm your co-host, Myko Garcia.
And once again, I'm your host, Justin Alvarado, and this is the MVP podcast. And don't forget, do it different.
Stay safe, guys.
Thank you so much for watching. If you dig that video, please don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel. And last but not least, don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss out on any video.